Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I am here with my co host, Amanda, who will be with me for this week's segment of Webster Wednesday. So, that is where we identify, define, and talk about words and phrases that are commonly associated with the LGBTQ plus community. Last week we talked about affirming versus welcoming churches. And if you missed that video, please feel free to go check it out later. Not now. We don't want you to miss all the action today. So we'll go ahead and dive into it for this week. Our word that we choose to focus on is
bisexuality.
Bisexuality. So we could assume that everybody knows what it means to be bisexual, but you know what they say about assuming? It makes an ass out of you and me, and we wouldn't want that. So allow us to clarify. Being bisexual means that an individual is physically, romantically, and or emotionally attracted to men and women. So we don't want to mistake bisexuality for being bi-curious. Bi-curious is someone identifies as straight, but they are interested in having a sexual experience with someone of the same sex. So that's not their identity. They're just bi-curious. So we wanted to clear that up. There's a lot of misconceptions, actually, that surround bisexuality. We're going to get into some of them. So you want to talk about one that you think's pretty common? What's a misconception that you think people have about bisexuality?
Well, I think that when people assume that when you tell people that you're bisexual, that they assume that if you get with a male, then you no longer are attracted to females. So if you're with a female, you're no longer attracted to male, and that's simply not true.
It's not true, right? It's not a phase. It's not one of those things that they're going to realize that they just want to, go with either all males or like the same. Hold on. It's not that they are going to change their mind. Like just with any other sexual orientation, that's just who they are. And actually a small percentage changes their identity. There are those who do, because I think that a lot of people feel it's easier to kind of tell people that you're bisexual, especially early on in the process of figuring things out. It seems that it might be more socially acceptable. Maybe even your family is more okay with that than if you would identify as one of the other orientations or have a different preference. But I forget where I was going with that.
See, I definitely agree with that because
don't be afraid. Just say it. Don't be afraid.
Okay, so basically when I was coming out with my mother, when I told her I was bisexual, I ended up getting with a male. And during that process, she basically asked me, do I still like females? And I was like, yes. And she was, kind of upset with that. But, surprise. I still like
and then it's like when you started dating a guy, she thought you would just go with guys.
Yes.
And that's where I was going with it, is that like a small percentage actually flip-flop like that. So we just wanted to clear that one up. Another one is that you got to have equal amount of partners to really make that judgment, and it doesn't go like that. You don't have to have dated 5 guys and 5 gals and now you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go with both. It doesn't work like that. I think that also there is this misconception that people who are bisexual are just sex fiends, and they don't know what they want. They just want to have sex. That's a pretty wacky one, but that is one that I came across in my research. A cheater's a cheater. It doesn't matter what you identify as, right?
Right, because I'm also asexual, and so I don't always think of sex. I don't at all. So it's weird to think that way. Like if that it's for me, it's odd anybody thinks that way. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't think they're all about, I guess, sex. I don't see it. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't mean also that you haven't had like enough experience or you've been done one too many. You've been wrong. You've been done wrong one too many times, right? By one gender or the other, and so you're gonna flop the other way. It doesn't work like that. That kind of goes back to it not being a phase. And you know, you can also be a male and be bisexual. Sometimes people think that only women identify as being bisexual. I think it goes back to that socially acceptable thing. But I'm not sure why people would think that women are the only ones that identify as being bisexual, but...
And I want to clarify that also, like, transgender people can be bisexual. They, they can like both sexes as well. That's actually a thing that the community, I've noticed a lot, like on Twitter and stuff. They're very against that. I don't understand why. I do believe that they have a right to what they believe and what they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I think we have covered a lot of ground here. So we're going to call it a day. Over and out. Well, before over and out, we have to remind you to like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel. And stay tuned for next week's segment where we will be talking about something that starts with the letter C.
See
C.
what I just did?
All right, officially over and out.